so long as like alchemy.
Your playing style will be a huge factor in your longevity as an athlete. Some have adapted along the way, and some are just freaks of nature, while others you watch knowing you better enjoy it while it lasts. Where does Andre Iguodala fall in all of this? Let's first take a look at the start of his basketball rise. Out of Springfield, Illinois, he was not nationally ranked or heavily recruited, so I'm assuming the decision to play for legendary coach Lute Olson at Arizona was an easy one. He played 20 minutes a game as a freshman with 5 other future NBA players on the roster. The 2 years showed Andre that he could play with anybody in the world, and that new confidence really unlocked the elite athlete that we have come to know as Iggy. Now, I give you this background to point out Andre was never touted as the man. He was an elite athlete who excelled at many areas of the game, but was a reluctant scorer. Now, the Sixers knew what they were getting when they drafted him, and they were thrilled to pair him with superstar and reluctant passer Allen Iverson. It worked out relatively well. Andre scored 9 points a game his rookie year and eventually was exited in the first round by the Detroit Pistons. A few years later, with Iverson's departure, they asked Andre to score more, and that he did. More than doubling his points per game from his rookie year, he was scoring 20 a game in the 2008 season. But if you watched him, he didn't put up shots with the killer instinct of a Kobe Bryant or the unconsciousness of his former teammate. He put them up because, well, he was the best option at the time. As the Sixers started to build around Andre, they discovered it was clear he would much rather be a distributor than a scorer. His scoring average dropped as his assist totals would climb. In 2012, the Sixers traded Iguodala, and at this point, the league knew what he was, an all-star caliber player, but far from a franchise one. Let's fast forward a bit. Most of you are familiar with how he got to Golden State and the tremendous impact he's had on not just winning, but changing the culture. This summer, the former Finals MVP put the squeeze on the front office, and the 33-year-old came away with a 3-year, $48 million deal. Now, here we sit almost halfway through the season, and Iguodala has made 14 threes, shooting a career low in effective field goal percentage of 46%, and with just 5 attempts a game. At 33 years old, in his 14th season, is Andre done? This goes back to my original thought. Your playing style will be a huge factor in the longevity of your athletic career. Andre's calling card has always been his athleticism, so early on he loved to show it off. And he's one of the rare guys who could jump off 1 or 2 feet equally effective. I believe it took him a little longer than most high flyers to stop showing out. Maybe it was because he was never a great scorer. He felt like that was the time for him to remind people of his gifts. Now, historically, high flyers either have a short career due to injuries or they find themselves on the end of a bench in their early 30s if they're not able to adapt their game. Now, to Andre's credit, he adapted to the 3-ball era and he understands he must shoot it. But just like anything else in life, there's a big difference between having to do something and wanting to do something. I think this can explain some of his struggles. It's very hard to find rhythm in your shot if you don't want to take it in the first place. Now, what's the other half to this equation? His body. He never suffered a significant injury throughout his career. His knee issues are chronic. They're from the wear and tear. Andre's always been a pro's pro, so I'm confident he's doing everything he can to stay on the court, from his diet to his pre- and post-game routines. But unfortunately, there's no magic bullet. His knees, they're only going to get worse. So what can Andre do to remain an effective part of this dynasty? Change his shot. Iguodala has a very pronounced dip, using a lot of legs to power his shot. So what do you think happens when his knees are killing him? 1, he doesn't want to dip in the first place. And 2, he's not able to generate the consistent amount of power needed from his legs. The answer, adapt more of a set shot, relying less on his legs, and at the same time quickening his release. Both Jason Kidd and Kobe modified their shots late in their career, understanding they couldn't rely on their legs as much. Now you say, what about his ability to finish at the rim? 1 word, floater. What else can he do better? Seek contact. With his length and grace, he's always avoided contact, even when he was making free throws. But instead of elevating upward, jump long and into rim protectors, much like Tony Parker has perfected throughout his career. Realistically speaking, these are things he would have to change in the summer. What can he do right now to help the Dubs go back-to-back? Take extended time through the All-Star break and go get the same PRP treatment he got in the summer of 2015. And when he's ready, come back physically charged up and mentally prepared to shoot the basketball. All of that said, could Andre Iguodala be traded? Obviously, I don't think it can happen this season. It would be too disruptive to the chemistry of this team. I gave you a history on who he is as a basketball player and how he truly is a reluctant scorer, and it's never been his nature to get up shots. You combine that with losing his athleticism, we all know that he has the basketball IQ to change his game. The question will be, can he change his physical skill set to fit what the Warriors need moving forward? If he no longer shoots the three ball, he can no longer be a part of this death lineup, and there are young, hungry Warriors who probably bring more to the defensive end of the floor at this point in their careers. So despite all the cachet, don't think for a second that Joe Lacob and Bob Myers won't pull the trigger on a deal to ensure that this dynasty's run is as long as possible.